Sonic here today. We have this GT3 RS back in our garage again. A few months ago, we installed our plug-and-play CarPlay kit on this vehicle. This car is the 911.1 model, so unfortunately, this specific model didn't come with the factory equipped CarPlay, so we hooked it up. We installed the CarPlay. It's wireless. It works fabulous. And today we're gonna add another product to it that goes along with our plug-and-play CarPlay kit, which is our backup camera kit. And basically with our backup camera kit, it's going to work together with the previously installed CarPlay kit. It has a lot of features where you could turn on and off the grid lines. It has these moving lines if you want to use that. And today we're going to be sharing with you the special way to route your rear view camera cables from the back of the car to the front of the car. It's gonna be pretty simple. It's not really shared online, and we're here to share and be really free with our information here. You'll find other YouTube videos where they're removing their wheels, they're removing the fender liner, and they're spending hours and hours installing it. But with our method, you'll be able to get it done in no time. So let's stop talking. Let's go inside the car and get this installed. All right, guys, so the first step is to open the trunk. So open the driver's side door, and there's a lever. Pull on it, it'll turn on, it'll open the trunk. All right, so here it is. So we're gonna first remove this tail light. All we have to do is remove those two bolts. It's T25 Torx. Before we do so, let's mask off this area here to protect it for any damages, because when you're removing it, you wanna make sure it doesn't touch any of the body. All right, let me grab my T25 and my little power tool to remove those two out. All right, so we got those two out, and just carefully remove it right out. There's gonna be a connector here. I'm gonna remove that connector. Okay, there's a release on the bottom. Grab a tool, put it here, and then just move up, and you'll release the clip. And once that clip is released, it'll come out very easily. Okay. All right, let's place this tail light in a safe location. Okay, next, let me remove these two covers here. Just grab a hold of this, just being held by little tabs. So just firmly pull up and it'll come off. Okay, just leave it just around here, just loosen it, and then let's pull this piece out. This is all just being held by clips as well. Okay, there it is. Put this aside. Basically, I just want this side to be open. Once this area is open, so we're gonna route this cable here, just the extension part of the backup camera, and we're gonna route it from here through here, and we're gonna go through this grommet that you see on the top. So when you're routing this, you wanna make sure you route this side here. Okay, there's the male and female side. The male side needs to go through the grommet. The female side stays down here because the female side will connect to, this will connect to your backup camera wire. The other side will route through. So if you look down here, there's a little opening here. Okay, you can go through here, or you can go through here as well. Okay, and then just push the wire through like so, and you'll cut a little slit on here, and then it'll go through the grommet. We'll seal it with some silicone, but just be careful not to cut any of the wire inside here. So to do that, just pull it out, and then we're gonna go straight in. Okay, so because this cable is coming through this side, we'll poke it like right there. All right, so grab a knife. You wanna be very precise with it. I'm gonna cut through right here. I'm gonna keep the hole as small as possible. You don't wanna cut more than you need to. Okay, there it is. Push this through, and we will be sealing the hole with some silicone afterwards. Let me make sure I have enough cable, and this will come through right here. So I'm gonna go inside the car and catch the wire from inside of the vehicle. All right, so you wanna come in from the passenger side, pull the bucket seat all the way forward, and let me squeeze in. Back here. I barely fit. I'm a pretty skinny guy, so just giving you guys a heads up. If you're not that skinny, you may need to get some help. And if you look back here, this is panel piece here. So I'm gonna pull this out. Stick your hand behind it and just pull out. Okay. So just grab a hold of this and just pull out. Okay. And it'll come off like that. And then there's a hole right there. It's a little bit of light coming through. And we're gonna bring it over to this passenger side here. And then we'll let it hang here for now. Okay, and this should be plenty of cabling. And once we connect the other side of the harness, we will just tuck it all in behind here. Let me push this back in. Just tuck it in behind this panel. You can use a panel removal tool if you wish. All right, that's it. And let me grab the rest of the harness and we'll connect the rest of the kit. Dude, I don't know how I got in here. All right, so we're back here to the back side. Let's actually work on this side here before we go back in the car. Let's connect all this. Let me grab my backup camera. Looks like this. Okay, it's mounted on here. If you look down here, there's a little release tab on the side right here. Just pull on it and then it'll come off. And once this is out, you'll want to release this clip just like I did the other one. Just pull out. Okay. Where that click, just pull it out like so. This is your factory one. We want to keep it. From here, we are going to connect these wires here to those two wires. Before we do that, let's route this cable. So we're going to go from back here and we're going to catch it from this side. All right, so if you guys have a difficult time routing the cable from here, what we did for this GT3 RS is we grabbed the clothes hanger. You could grab anything with a straight edge and then just push it down from up here. We caught it from the bottom. I'm gonna pull it straight up. And once the wire is up there, it'll be much easier to route it over to the side where we want it. Undo the tape and we'll temporarily tape the camera on here so that it won't hang out there until we connect this. And we'll route this over to the side here. Okay. And from here, we'll connect it just like that. All right. So it's good to have the connection point here. So if you ever need to remove the bumper for any maintenance, then it's easy to remove it from here using the quick release on this backup camera. Leave it around here for now. Let's push this grommet back into its original place. All right, there it is. And then we'll add some silicone up there. All right, so we're routing this cable right now. We're going to route it like this and make it come down here. And we want to make sure it doesn't go near the fan or any other moving parts or any hot parts. So we will zip tie part of it to this right here. There's a factory harness. And you want to leave enough slack so it could go to the side of this plastic piece and loop around. Now let's bring the cover back on. And then this little fan shroud. Let's push this back on as well. And next, let's put on some black silicone to seal off the little opening that we created on the grommet. So we got that connected, we got this connected. All right guys, so next step, let's work on the backup camera. As you can see, there's gonna be two wires out like this. So we're gonna strip some of the wires to expose more of the inside part of the wire. And we're going to tap it onto those two wires using the Posi tap. This is the least evasive way to get power from the factory wires. So basically how this works is it pokes a really tiny hole in here to prevent the least amount of markings on the factory wires. Let's strip these wires. So these wires are pretty thin. So we want to try avoiding cutting any of the inside part of the wires. All right, here we go. And the black is going to be ground and the red is for power. We will unscrew this Posi tap, the red side, connect it here, and we're just going to twist them on like so. All right, and we'll do the same for the power side, the red side. Okay, now we will connect it to these 2 wires. The ground is gonna be this brown wire, and the power is going to be the striped wire. It's gray and yellow. Put it here like so, and all you have to do is just screw it on. Screw it on really nice and tight, and we'll do the same for the other wire. Okay, and once you get to this point here, go ahead and test it to make sure the light comes on. Okay, so the LED turns on. All right, so everything's working as expected. And we want to insulate this area for waterproof. I doubt water's gonna get over here, but just in case. So let's go ahead, we're gonna cover all that up. Okay, so we're gonna use some silicone tape. We are going to wrap all this up from this connector all the way down here. So we're gonna use a lot of the tape. All right, so this is how it looks. It's all waterproof. If I were to go back in there, just do a slit with a knife, and then we'll be able to remove the silicone tape. Tuck all this stuff up here and pop this in place, like so. All right, so we want to organize the wires a little bit. We grab this. If the rear bumper needs to be removed for maintenance, you could just unplug it over here. So this thicker part of the connector, we want to zip tie this onto the body, and we'll zip tie it right here. All right, we'll leave it like this so that if the connector needs to be disconnected, you can just disconnect it from right here and reconnect it after you're done servicing the vehicle. This back side's done. We don't want to put the rear tail light back in yet because there's these wires here that we may need to cut to adjust and turn off the guidelines, because the camera is not going to be perfectly centered because we're using license plate light mount. So it's off to the side. If you want it directly right in the center, you're gonna have to drill a hole. Don't wanna do that, so we are going to have it off to the side. And if it's off to the side, the guidelines are not gonna be perfectly straight, so we're just going to remove the guidelines. So let me show you how. One of the wires just needs to be cut. We're gonna go back into the car, and that right there, we are going to connect this to it. All right, and we'll wrap that in electric tape. And after we wrap that in electric tape, we'll just tuck all this under this panel here, go along the side to the door sills, and once we reach this point, we're gonna run out of some wires, our black and red wires. So we're gonna extend it from here, go behind, and then go behind the center dash to the driver's side. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, if you see a wire like this, you can go ahead and ignore it. This is another way to route power all the way to the front. We're not going to be using it, so we'll just mask this off with some electric tape. Okay. And let's also cover the RCA cables. Okay. And we'll start tucking in. All right, so before we go any further, let's extend these wires here. To extend these wires, of course, you're going to need some extra wires. Okay, red wires and black wires. To extend it, you can do one of many different ways. One way is to solder. Other way is to use some wire connectors, bullet connectors. For us, we like using this Posi tap. Very easy to use. So we're just gonna screw them and connect them to extend the wires. All right, here we go. And let's do the same on this new wires. That's the red. Now let's do the black. And we will cut these extended wires to length after we know how much wire we need. All right, here we go. Got these, let me insulate them. All right, okay, so these wires are extended. We also have our video RCA cable. Let's continue routing them. Get behind here. Let's start tucking them. And once we get here, let's just pull off this panel piece. Just grab a hold of it from the inside and just pull up. All right, here we go. Let's tuck this under the carpet. You can use the panel removal tool. There's little tabs here that's holding this carpet in place. These little hooks, plastic hooks. And let's keep on going. Okay, once we get here, let's get behind this. So let's open this fuse box. All right, Go under here, and let's get behind this. Okay, just grab your finger up here. There's a little opening, and just pull it towards you, which will release the clips. And once this is out, let's start tucking in the wires under the carpet. We're gonna go behind this carpet here, like so. So once we get here, now we wanna bring the cable to the other side. Let me grab a wire, push it through, tape it, and we're gonna pull it over to the driver's side. Out of all this, the RCA cable is the longest, and this is the cable that we are not going to cut or do anything with. So let's route this first. And once we route this cable through, we'll route the other wires. We'll route the wires using this. So let's first put this metal cable through. So back here, small opening. We're just gonna push it through and catch it from the other side. It's coming through. Okay, there it is. All right, so if you stick your head in there and flash a light from the opposite side, you'll notice that there's a little bit of light, and that's the opening channel that you wanna go through. Pull on the metal wire from the other side, and that will bring our wires and cables through. All right, here it is. Keep pulling them. And once around here, let me go back to the other side and tuck it in behind all the panels. So everything is done on this side. So let me start putting all these other parts back. Let's hook these carpet back on. When you remove this, most likely these clips here are gonna remain on the bottom, and you don't have to pry it back out and place it back onto the panel piece here in order to get everything back on correctly. Otherwise, it's just gonna be hanging out down there. So make sure you take that extra step to do so. Take the rubber trim, and you do have to pull it up so that it will be placed over the piece that we just reinstalled. All right, so all this is completed. We got the backup camera, everything's connected. Its next step is to connect to the interface. We are first going to remove this fuse box. Let's also pull this panel off. Okay, and we're going to ground on this piece right here, okay? I'm gonna ground it here, our camera. To do so, let's organize our wires and cut it to length. And let's also access our interface. Interface is up here, mounted. And if you look at the harness, the connectors for the camera is here. The front camera, 12-volt power, where one. Let me see if I can just pull it out. There it is. One of these RCA cable is for rear camera RCA cable. There it is. All this stuff back in that we're not going to be using. All right, so here's our two connectors that we are interested in. Let me first connect the RCA cable. This will provide the power. This will provide the video image. And we will route this from the back here, and we'll catch it. Okay, there's some extra wires. We will organize that later. And we also have our camera ground here. The camera ground is gonna ground over here to the left, so we're going to crimp it on a negative terminal. I wanna make sure there's enough cables we're going through. So when you're routing cables under the steering wheel, you wanna make sure it's all out of the way from all the moving parts, acceleration pedal, and also under the airbag. It's always good to have a little bit extra than not enough. And then our power, we'll route the same way we route the RCA cable. Let's pull this out. And we're going to connect it there. So over here should be enough. All right, sweet. Let me get my wire connectors. All right, and then also the negative terminal to ground my ground. Okay, so this 10 millimeter, we're going to loosen that. And we're going to add a ring terminal to this and ground it. There's a ring terminal that we're going to attach. Okay, here it is. All right, terrific. It's for good measure. I'm gonna give it another crimp right under it. Let's loosen that 10 millimeter. There we go. So this part is connected. so we can put our fuse box back in. All right, but before we do that, let me just connect this piece here. This is the wire that we're not going to use. We're just going to insulate it and tape it here. Okay, but the wire that we routed on the back of the vehicle, we'll connect these two together. Okay, so for these connections, we're going to be using these Japanese bullet connectors. They work really well, and it gives 2 point of contact. And let's plug them together. All right, sweet. Okay, so before we continue on, everything is connected. So let's make sure it is working. All right, so with this system, we actually have to turn on the backup camera feature from the infotainment system. So we're going to settings, reverse camera. I guess that's that. Let's turn off the reverse guidelines. Radar is off. Oh, perfect. Okay, so backup camera is working. We do want to remove these lines here. All right, so we're gonna get rid of the parking line. So all you have to do is cut this green wire here. All right, so there's a green. I'm gonna cut it. There it is. And let's go test one more time. There it is. Okay, sweet. Next step, let's insulate this wire. Let's clean it up and we'll reverse order everything we just did, and that will complete the installation. All right, back out here. So now we're just going to organize all these wires and cables. I'll probably fold this and then zip tie it up there. Stay. It does have to come up here from the top. All right, guys, so to route the ground wire, we actually went up here under the steering wheel column and then looped around and dropped it again. There's no good place to zip tie down here, so that is the best way, and the same grounding location I showed you before. All right, we're almost done, guys. All right, guys, well, that does it. That completes the install. So I want to give you a little visual representation. This is the dead center right here, and we're going to go inside the car, put the car into reverse gear, and see how it looks from inside the car. If you want it dead center, you do have to drill a hole in the center here, and if you decide to do that, you do have to remove the bumper. So our solution is basically keep it as simple as possible, and this is it. Just use one of the rear license plate light for it. Okay, all right, so we're in the car. Put the car into reverse gear. There you can tell right here, if it was in a dead center, it'll be going from here to there. But as you can tell, it's a little bit off to the side. Just keep that in mind when you use these backup camera solutions that mounts to the license plate light, that it'll be to the side a little bit. And let me also give you a little visual representation of the brightness of the new LED on the new enclosure. All right, as you can see over here, it is gonna be a little bit brighter than your factory one. There's other similar parts that's available that you can mount your rear camera on, but we selected this one because it matches the factory LED the best. The other one is too bright, it's too blue. It's kind of, some are even purplish. This is the only one that is like the factory one. So let's turn off the light in this room, just show you the difference. And this is the closest it'll get to factory for any aftermarket solutions. If you want it to look perfectly the same, left and right, you can actually purchase an additional enclosure and just connect it to the other side. That'll make it exactly even. All right, guys, well, that concludes our installation demonstration of our backup camera kit to this 911 991.1 GT3 RS. Same kit is also compatible with other 911 models, the 991.1 models, and also other Porsche models in the same generation like the Macan and also the Cayenne. And just as a side note, in order for this backup camera kit to work, you will need another system to allow for the video to come in for your backup camera, just like our S-Connect system. So just with the camera kit itself, it will not work. just you won't need an additional interface. And if you're local to us here in Southern California, reach out to us. We offer these installations in-house. You've seen how we done it. If you want to do it yourself, you can also challenge yourself to do it as well. But if you'd like us to do it, we'd be happy to do so. Just shoot us an email and we'll get you scheduled in. All right, guys, well, that does it. If you have any questions, leave a comment below, or you can email us at info@bsonicusa.com. As always, guys, if you haven't helped our channel, give us that like and hit that subscribe button.